make this your living, if you want to live from it, you gotta have this irrational thing that tells you that you are going to make it. It doesn't matter what the fuck is like. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. You're gonna make it.
Be like, damn, these guys are like two teen girls drinking.
I used to work for Starbucks, actually.
What?
Yeah, man, I've had many lives.
Sounds like it. You want to take us through why you and I are sitting across from each other today on the Nomadic mic?
Because you're interested in my life experiences?
In part, absolutely.
You know?
In part, especially who you are now and what you're becoming. What is indicative of who you are as a person is how persistent you are of getting your name and your music out there. You didn't plan to be a singer or an R&B singer or anything like that, did you?
Not really. Not really. Yeah, my mom, being a singer herself, that's her job. So this is how she put food on the table and paid for my studies and everything. Always told me that she didn't want me to sing because it's not stable, which I understand. And yeah, if you know anything about black mothers, is there, you listen to them.
Yeah,
listen to them.
Black moms sound a lot like Indian moms.
Yeah,
in that regard.
From what I've heard, I think there's a lot of similarities for sure. So yeah, never really planned that.
I mean, I was surprised to find out that you did. I was surprised, but I was also not surprised to find out that you were an engineer. You know, one thing that no one has given me an answer for just yet is why France manufactures so many engineers.
I think there's like this idea of like what a good career is, a good path. This is exactly why I ended up doing it. It's like, okay, you good at math, you doing okay with school, you should be an engineer. Yeah. And I've been told this since I was like 10 years old. Oh, you're gonna be an engineer. And it's like it's like anything. You just plant a seed in a child's mind. And even if it's not my idea, it's like, okay, I heard. And then it's like, I graduate from high school and I'm like, I guess I'm going to be an engineer, man.
That's interesting, man. That's really, wow. That sounds so similar to the way that I grew up as well, man. Like, my dad's a scientist. He wanted me to be a scientist. I took those subjects in high school. And, man, I was sitting there in class and I looked around me. Everyone is so into what they were doing. I did not give a...
Same here.
I did not give a...
Same.
Oh,
I had a good time though in engineering school, like outside of school.
Yeah.
Like I was living on campus and having fun.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I still graduated. I did what I had to do. But thank God I'm not.
Did you always know that you wanted to get into singing?
No, because I was like, I mean, I've always loved to sing. But I used to be really shy. Yeah. And I never even believed that, okay, maybe I can do that. Just because, like, from the start, I've been told my whole life, I don't want you to do that. And then it's like that on top of me being shy and me, not, yeah, I never even.
I hear that.
Yeah. But it's funny because, like, now a lot of my friends are like, yeah, man, we kind of knew you were going to,
get into this.
Yeah, do that.
I hear that. I mean, I think... for any of the viewers out there, Wes and I are tight. We hang every week. Nah, I'm joking. It's the complete opposite.
That's my brother. You are my brother.
For real. No, but I think what you're really good at doing is being authentic. And I feel like apart from, I think big brands can learn a lot about this word authenticity, but even creators or, other types of artists, I feel like being authentic on a social media platform is one of the hardest things that you can do. At the end of the day, any media that you create is an extension of yourself in some type of way, whether that's music, making films, reels on IG, whatever it is. But making people hear your authentic voice, your authentic message, I think that is so hard to do. But from what I understand, from what I see, you were quite good at doing that, you know. And I don't even know if you recognize that or if this is an intentional thing.
I guess it's not at the beginning and the start. It's not. I'm just, you know, being myself, I guess. But I do see and understand that it's better. Like, okay, the way I want it to happen is like I want it to be me. I don't want to be anybody else but myself. And I think it's kind of, you know, it's like, it's cliche, but it's lame if you like, you know, copy or try to be someone that you're not. So I try to be, but like when I say I try, it's like, for example, I try to share some things that maybe I didn't want to, and it's in that way. It's not. I don't. You know, try to be authentic because that would be counterproductive. But like when I say I try, it's like, okay, maybe I don't really want to share that part, but actually maybe if I do, people will relate to me more. For example, the teaching part. Because like for a long time, nobody knew that I was a teacher. Yeah, and it's like, you know, when I had this conversation, it's like, what? You're a teacher? Kindergarten teacher? Like what? Yeah. And I used to think like it's so far from my music and from what I'm doing and from what I want to be that it wouldn't make sense. You know, it's like, man, like this dude's is like R&B singer, all these love songs, and it's like, and he's a kindergarten teacher. And then like I had a conversation like a few months ago with one of my good friends, and he made me understand that, especially nowadays, you can't have one dimension to who you are. You can't just be like, oh yeah, he's a dude that makes music. Like, I'm a dude that makes music, and I'm a kindergarten teacher, and I love this and I love that, and like it's like, and the more you share, the more people relate to you. And now like I'm the dude that's like, oh, he's a kindergarten teacher and he sings. It's him. You know, so it gives more dimensions to who you are, and people can relate.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good message for a lot of people out there, because oftentimes people are afraid of, it's almost like people feel like they're exposing themselves a little too much on social media, you know? Yeah, man, it's messed up when you're on that phone all day and you have this influx of messages from the world about who this person is, who that person is. Everything seems so extreme, you know? Like, this person is a class world act, like trampoline artist, or this guy knows how to do like backflips. This other guy has a 6-pack and he's about to compete at Mr. Olympia, or she's amazing at drawing this, that. Everyone just seems so amazing at what they do. Yeah. It has a way of making you feel really small, you know? And I think finding, like, getting strength with your identity, a way to do that is just to be honest with yourself about who you are. And one way to do that is to be authentic with other people. But I would say, even for myself, I struggle to do that. Like, I may be preaching this, but I struggle to do that as well. Yeah. You know?
I mean, it's different to know that you should be doing that and to actually do it. So there's a lot of steps between these two already. So, but knowing already is like a good start, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good start. I feel like a lot of people have that start. I think what really helps is if you build a community around you that supports what you're doing. Because having like Kobe, for example, he said one big reason as to why he loves basketball, apart from his dad getting him into it and everything, is because there is that immediate feedback on how you're getting better or if you're getting worse. And that's missing the mark, you know? If if the ball doesn't go through the hoop, that means you need to improve your shot. Right? It's that immediate feedback. And when you're creating content or when you're creating music or anything, your feedback is quite literally people telling you, hey, I love this or I don't love this, you know? Yeah. And it's up to you to be the filter, because then that becomes like an emotional thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you put something out there that's an extension of yourself and someone tells you, hey, I don't like this, you gotta filter that through your own emotional thing.
True. You gotta also know that someone telling you that they like what you're doing, it don't always mean that it's good. First of all, it doesn't mean that it's good, and it doesn't mean you don't. Sometimes, for example, like someone that doesn't really give a shit about what you're doing and wouldn't pay attention like that, but just wants to still be around you, whatever, you can just be like, oh yeah, that song is nice, I like that song, even though they didn't really listen to it like that or like pay attention or like, yeah. You gotta be careful, I guess, about people telling you that your thing is good or that your thing is bad. Like for me personally, I like it if someone tells me that something is not good or like where it's not good and why. Because this is the only thing I want to hear is that. If it I like it, of course, when someone tells me, oh man, I love this song, and but it's weird because it doesn't really. I don't want to say it doesn't do anything to me because it's not true, but it's like I'm like because like personally I know that like I can get better in so many ways in so many areas, and someone telling me then what I've put out is good doesn't help me become better.
I like that. So you welcome constructive criticism.
I need it.
Does it matter who it comes from? Like
I have my people.
Yeah.
That, for example, like I finish a song and I send it to them beforehand, and I'm like, okay, tell me. Yeah. Like everything, and then if it's not from them, I will take it from anyone, but also it depends who it is and what's how are they coming at it, like how are they coming to me with it. It's like, okay, like who are you? Why are you telling me this? And is it genuine? So like you gotta make sure you filter stuff, but you gotta take it too. You gotta take criticism.
I think especially since we all live on social media, what it's also done is it's kind of created this invisible barrier to people being approachable, right? Like you, I think you're a very approachable person. It's very easy to talk to you.
People don't always think that though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Right? That's what I'm saying. Like online, people create ideas of who you are, right? And for that reason, they might want to say something about your music. They might want to say something about you. It might even be a compliment, but they hold themselves back from that,
True.
Right?
Very true.
Yeah, man, people get in their way a lot. Also speaking, that's I'm going to save this question for the end of the podcast, but yeah. If you have a message to people out there who listen to your music or who are following you or anything, are you encouraging people out there to reach out to you and say anything?
Please do reach out. Tell me what you think about it. If you think it's good, think it's bad, why is it bad? Where is it bad? Where can it be better? I'm never gonna take anything. It doesn't affect my perception of myself. I just want to be
powerful,
better. So if I hear something negative, it's not gonna make me feel like, oh man, I ain't shit. Yeah. It's like, okay, I hear this person. I will try to understand their point of view. Maybe I will agree, and maybe I won't. If I won't, it's like, okay, fine. Like, thanks for sharing.
Yeah. I think what you just said is powerful. This idea of not taking things personal and not attaching opinions to who you are. I think that's an essential ingredient when you are trying to build something. Because the larger something gets, the more surface area it has for attack.
Of course. And I say that, but it's not easy. And I get in my feelings about a lot of things. So yeah, it does happen. It's not easy, but if someone takes time to message me or come to me like, okay, like I like that, but then maybe you could be doing this a little bit different. I'll be grateful for that.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. I think this must have been like a year or two ago, man. It's been a long, long time since I saw this, but you posted I remember distinctly you posting something about the duality of being an artist and the mood. So in one moment you feel like the king of the world, like, oh man, the things that I create are literally the best thing anyone could ever create. And the next moment you're crying yourself to sleep in bed, like, god damn, imposter syndrome on steroids.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the latter is something that you know, a lot of really successful artists don't talk about enough. I listened to a podcast with Big Sean and Jay Shetty recently, and I would recommend that podcast if you haven't heard it. It's beautiful. I think I love hearing the more human side to people that are big, you know, because there's a veil there. There's a veil,
same.
And it might not even be something that they've put out there themselves. It's just something that naturally happens, you know. The bigger you get, the more opinion the more your real persona gets washed away because of media and all this other stuff.
Yeah, it's not easy, man. Like, the thing is, I think when you're an artist, it doesn't matter what you're doing, like music or visual art or whatever it is. And if you want to make this your living, if you want to live from it, you gotta have this irrational thing that tells you that you are going to make it. It doesn't matter what the fuck is, like, it doesn't matter, like, it doesn't matter. You're gonna make it. Just keep going. And so that's not rational at all. But you, like, if you have that, for me personally, it helps me in the times where I doubt myself. Because like I'm, you know, like everybody else, I doubt myself. I have like periods of time where I can't create the way I want to. But somehow, some way, there's always the stronger feeling is always like, yeah, but keep going. I'm going to make it. I don't have it, you know. It's not that I don't have a choice, but I don't have a choice.
I hear that. Back against the wall type of thing, right? Chip on the shoulder type of thing. Yeah.
So, you know, just keep going. And also, I watch a lot of interviews and podcasts and stuff. So it also helps to see that everybody goes through that. And most of the time, the advice is keep going. Keep trying.
Obviously, that's good advice. But on the flip side of that, it's advice that's thrown out there a lot. You know,
True.
And if I'm to play the devil's advocate here, I think a lot of people, including myself mentally, I mean, I obviously do have time in my head, but there are people who are running behind time, and their dreams are not on the timeline, the realistic timeline of their lives.
True.
And a lot of us live on not only other people's opinions, but the opinions of loved ones, you know, the timelines of loved ones. Either we live under the expectation of, let's say, our former guardians, parents, who are like, hey, you should be married by 25, you should have a kid by 28, I want to see my grandchildren, that kind of a thing, right? Or you might have a partner who's on a completely different timeline to you. Maybe you guys are not married and they want to get married soon. Maybe they want a kid soon. Maybe, you know, there's so many things. How do you stay true to yourself, and how much time do you spend alone to try and block out external noise?
I think you have to in a way, you have to be selfish. And it might not be fair to whoever's around you, but if that's, first of all, you need to know your priorities and what you really want, you know, because like sometimes people have like, okay, career, and then like, okay, family, and then like if you really some people really think about it, like, you know what, like, I want a family, so I'm gonna make that work first, and then if I can, you know, so like first of all, you gotta know your priorities, and after that, you gotta be okay with being selfish, which is a weird sentence because like being selfish usually means that you're okay with it, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like being selfish is not a good thing, you know, but if you want to make it somehow, like, you know, in whatever you're doing, that's like outside of like a office job or whatever, or even maybe in an office job, I don't know.
Mm.
You have to be selfish.
Mm.
If that's really what you want, if you are your own priority and what, you know, your dreams and all of that, you have to be selfish.
I think, yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I think some people sometimes might not have it in them to be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe many people are brought up with this idea that it's wrong to choose yourself. You know, that it's wrong to put yourself in front of other people's needs.
Right.
And at the end of the day, life is a psychological game for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Life happens in your head. What your experience of
sure.
life happens in your head.
For sure.
And you know, obviously, being giving as a human being is fantastic because, you know, karma comes back to you. But
definitely,
sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just there, and you're you know, people can walk all over you.
Yeah, and also, right? You know, like putting yourself first, aka being selfish in that situation, it might be the good thing to do. There's maybe you're good. The karma is there. Like you by you doing this and putting yourself first, you might end up getting what you want, which would be the good karma. The reaction to you being selfish and focusing on yourself, is getting what you want. Then it's not. How is it? You know, how is that a bad thing?
That's true. And I mean, I love what they say out there, that if you are able to get what you want in life, and if you are your happiest person, then everybody else in your life will also be happy. At least the ones that are true, at least the ones that really care about you, because then you are able to live in abundance and give some of that away.
Yes.
You know, and that's a powerful state of being. That's a powerful state of being. Yeah. Damn, Wes, this is a very easy conversation. I've done 13 of these so far, and one thing that I've been learning through every conversation is how different people bring out different sides of me. And I feel like this is a very honest and easy flowing conversation. So thank you for having that vibe. Man, that's really cool.
Thank you for having me, man.
Oh, absolutely.
The Libra, man, we said it before.
Yeah, man, it's a balance. This is a very, I hope it looks balanced on set as well. That would be perfect. Oh man, if we had like a scale back here as a prop, I should have thought of that. Should have thought of that.
You can edit it.
Yeah. Photoshop that in. Damn. Okay, man. Well, tell us a little bit about what your dreams are, you know? And I'll give you a more constructed question to work off of. There's a lot of tools that people use to build visions of their future. Like some of them have these vision boards, as they would call them, you know, that they wake up to every day. Multi-million-dollar mansion, boats, you know, performing at large concerts, you know, woman of their dreams, this, that, and the other. You know, they have a very set, structured view of what it is they want, and people go after that, right? Drake, I mean, he's talked about this. You know, a lot of other hip hop artists. Do you have a similar approach to your future, or do you work differently?
I mean, I guess we all have like more or less an idea of what, you know, you want your life to be. The bigger picture would be like living from music and being able to, I guess it's kind of a hip hop cliche, but like, you know, being able to provide for your family, you know, buy a house with my mom, you know, the usual stuff. Yeah. But
nothing.
The way I go about it is I plan a lot. I write things down. I have like 3 whiteboards in my crib just for like different stuff. Just like, okay, this one is like my calendar. This one is like my short term. This one is like, but where I am right now, it's like, it's more, I'm planning the music, what I want it to sound like, the stories I want to tell. Because I believe that if I manage to make it, it will only be by creating what I really want to create. You know, I can make a few concessions here and there if I have to, but it needs to be the music that speaks to my soul, either like sonically or even like the themes. So this is where I plan a lot, and yeah, I don't plan too far ahead, because for me, I believe that if if the short term plan is right, then what's coming next is gonna be right as well, and it's like steps. Because sometimes I feel like you wake up and you say, okay, I want like a mansion and all that, and this shit is like so far away. It's like can you even reach it? Can you touch it? But things that I can actually visualize make more sense to me. So not too far ahead, and then when I reach that, I'll have another plan for like the next year or the next short term as well. Yeah. And then from there, I'll build from that.
You said something just now about the stories that you want to tell. What kind of stories do you want to tell?
People who know me, they know that I don't talk to that much, or even like in social situation. I don't really talk that much, but I observe a lot, and I like to, like, it's kind of going to sound a little bit creepy, but like I like to observe like human behavior in certain situations, and I like to hear about certain stories and put myself in different situations to understand someone, but also to see like would I do the same thing if I was in that position. And this is where I get my inspiration. So it's not always going to be something that I've been through, or maybe it's going to be like the spark. I went through that, and then like it gave me the idea of that song, because I like to tell stories in my music. So it doesn't have to be my own or 100%, but it's always going to be something that at least I've seen or heard, or just a little, maybe even a little bit. It might be something that you tell me, or something that anybody shares, or that I overhear. It's like, oh shit, that's interesting actually. So these are the stories that, mostly about love and relationship, of course. But
I mean, that's what I was gonna say, right? Because you're an R&B singer, right? R&B is known for its themes
love.
of love
music,
right?
Yeah, love is so good, man. There's so many emotions in love. Good ones, bad ones. Yeah. Confusion. Doubt. Certainties.
What do you think love's taught you, man? I mean, obviously a lot. Same here, But I think I love that we're talking about love, just because loving different people teaches you different lessons. Because everybody has a different way of receiving and expressing love.
Yes, definitely.
And by loving many people, you also get to understand what love means to you, and how you feel most appreciated, how you need to be taken care of, how maybe you like taking care of other people.
It's still something that I'm trying to figure out, like my love language. Just because, like, I think I'm so focused on myself and what I want to do, it's not easy for me to take a step back and be like, okay, but what, like, when it comes to a relationship with someone else, what do you how do you want to be loved? And also, I guess it's also hard for me to give love the way someone would want it. Yeah. Just because, again, I'm so focused on myself and what I want to do. Yeah. So that's what I'm learning, and I'm trying to be better at. But it also taught me how to love myself, which is the most important thing in life, I think. Because if you don't love yourself, how can you love someone else properly?
If you don't love yourself, how can you love someone else properly? I mean, that is definitely a very strong message. And I think it's a message that is difficult to understand, because learning how to love yourself is one of the hardest pursuits that anyone can embark on.
Because a lot of people confuse self-love and maybe being full of yourself, or being like cocky, or for example, like it's a funny little side story, but so I have tattooed on my body self-love, which is all after that goes like into like flowers. So like basically self-love, then the flower bloom. And so when I showed this picture to because my parents haven't seen this, only pictures, right? And I showed it to my dad, and he was like, self-love, really? Are you sure you're not going to regret this one day? And I was like, I won't get too much into like my dad's personality on it, but it's like the fact that he asked me that question, I was like, I get it, that it came like that you would ask me that, and it's like, nah, I'm never going to regret that, because I've, I don't want to say I've achieved it, because like it's I feel like it's never done, never reached the self-love. It's just like it's for life. It's a mindset that you need to keep. But the fact that I'm on that journey, I'm proud of that. And I when I was younger, I didn't love myself like that. Yeah. So the fact that today I'm like, a lot of times I think about like, because I guess everybody's like that, but when you're younger, you kind of think, what would I be like? What will I be like when I'm that age, or when I'm grown up, or And I think that teenage Wes would be proud.
Oh man, I like
it's
that.
It's kind of cheesy-ish, but yeah, he'd be like, man, all right, I'll see you.
You know what, man? I think things can only be perceived as cheesy if you are in a certain state of mind. But if there is somebody out there listening, watching, that is in the same state of mind as you, that is resonating with them. Right. It's resonating with me, because when I turned 23, I used to vlog a lot, and not even for like the views or YouTube or anything, like just for my future self, because I knew like every moment is dope. Man, every moment is fleeting, and documentation. I'll start from the beginning. Like, I was so pissed off when I came to a certain age where I became more curious about my family history, and I realized there just weren't enough documents, writings, anything for me to look back on and be like, yes, this is where I came from, And, just naturally as a curious human being, even now, are you an extrovert or an introvert?
Very much introvert.
Very much introvert. But hey, man, you have people in your life that you care about, and the fundamentals of getting to know anyone and making friends is getting to know them deeply, right? I want to be friends with my ancestors. Right. I can't fucking do that. Yeah. Right? I don't have enough to go on. I can make them up. Yeah. I don't know who they are. So I started doing that. So I started vlogging and all that stuff. So at least in the future, I would know who I was in the past. When I was 23, I remember recording myself and being like, I'm proud. I'm proud. I'm happy. When I look back at that now, I'm like, this is so cheesy. How could I have posted this, It's still there on my feed. I'm like, man, don't take it down. No, I won't. And I mean, my girl, she was like, yeah, I stalked the shit out of you when I first like met you. And I was like, I watched all these videos, and I was like, yeah. And then I looked back, I was like, let me see through her eyes what she saw. And I watched, I was like, oh my God, thank God she's like still with me, because,
yeah, but like your perception of it is obviously different from hers.
Obviously, yeah.
She might have been like, damn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Maybe she was like, man, that dude's sexy, man. Tapping into his feelings.
Yeah, man. I mean, females, they really appreciate honesty, right?
There you go.
So, as long as you're being honest, and as long as people perceive that. But goddamn, man, Wes, you just said something that I'm trying to go back on. Yeah. Yes. Loving yourself. Obviously that is not a constant state. It's like, it's got its dips and it's got its highs.
It's like happiness.
It's like happiness, man. It's like happiness. And I would hate to be happy all the time. I think I don't know if it's a Libra thing or whatever it is, but growing up, I loved being positive all the time. But, you know, recently I've been introduced to this concept of toxic positivity. Yeah, it's bad to be positive all the time, especially in situations that don't call for it.
I'm French, so there was no such thing as being positive all the time.
Oh man, no, I've been to Paris, man. I've been to Paris. Paris is I love the city, but it's definitely got a different energy to it. You know, people are steadfast. Man. They'll elbow you if they have to. Sure. If you're in their way.
It looks nothing like what people think it does.
Yeah.
It's like no. It's like, you know, they always feel so romantic. It's like, nah, man. Be careful.
How did Paris come to be the city of love? Do you know?
I have no idea. It was never for me, so I don't know.
Huh. Yeah, man, I wish I'd prepared that. I mean, we'll do like a cut. We'll do like all right, some research thing, like an ad.
And then we'll be in Paris.
Yeah. Oh shit. Damn. One of my friends was saying the other day, like, oh, I want to be like really rich and really wealthy. And I was like, okay, cool. And they were like, oh, like, don't you? And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, you have to think about what wealth means.
Yeah, exactly. Like, also, like, someone saying that, you have to ask them why. Like, why? Why do you want to be rich and super rich and all? Like, what do you want to do? You want to, you know, be on a jet ski and take a video of yourself on a jet ski like DJ Khaled?
Right.
Is that what you want to be doing? Like, what if you were rich, what would you be doing?
Mm-hmm.
Will you really be happy, or would you be craving something else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sometimes like it's hard to figure that out until you get it, and that's why, man, like this thing right here, this social media, all this stuff, it can be so poisonous.
Yes.
If not used in the right way. And it's also an analogy of like being a consumer versus being a creator. And I don't mean to use those words because they're so saturated. Everyone's using it to describe like blah blah blah. But yeah, I mean, being a person of expression as opposed to being a person who absorbs things all the time. You know, if you keep absorbing, man, that's so confusing.
Yeah, true.
You know,
true. And also it's just so addictive. I'm very much addicted to my, phone, social media. Sometimes I just be, scrolling for like 20, 30 minutes. I'm like, man, what the fuck am I doing? Or even I go to the gym and between every set, I'm like, I open like IG and shit. Like, why are you doing that? You don't need to do that. And actually, if you were not doing that, you would work out a lot faster, and you would be back home doing, working on something else.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very frustrating, but addiction is real.
Addiction is a very real thing. I mean, there was a good podcast that I did with the Google guy that I told you about. So he's obviously like that whole podcast was kind of an insight into how these tech giants code these apps and these softwares to make us more addicted, right? And I think a really good way to combat all of this addiction is to understand why the addiction happens in the first place, right? Understand like the science behind it and stuff like that. If you're interested in that, because if you understand that you are a machine at the end of the day that is being manipulated by code, then maybe you start to move and act very differently.
True.
And one of the teachings that I've found very very insightful and very useful is environment design. Designing your environment to serve your purpose, right? So if you wanted to work out, getting pull-up bars installed or something on your door, having like weights lying around or something, in a place that you pause, maybe in front of the mirror, because when you're looking in the mirror, you might have the thought like, oh, I don't look so good today. But then right there, you have the option. Do like two sets of like bicycles.
What my place looks like. It's like my pull-up bar is right next to the huge ass mirror.
Wes right now is Wes in the present moment, but there was a Wes that's been alive for 20 some years, and there's a Wes that is going to be alive for a very long time. What would you say?
I hope so.
Yes, exactly. I hope so. What would you say to your younger self at any given age, and what kind of conversation are you hoping to have with your older self?
That's good. That's a good one.
Take your time with that one.
What I would say to my younger self, trust yourself. Start singing. Yeah, a lot earlier. Start writing a lot earlier. But just maybe express yourself more. Definitely, because yeah, that's one of my situations, I would say. But yeah, trust yourself. You're gonna make it happen. Whatever it is, whatever it is, you're gonna make it happen. You're gonna be alright. Yeah.
It's a good message.
And what was the second part? Sorry.
Second one is the kind of conversation you're hoping to have with your future self.
That's harder even. My future self. I would hope that my future self tells me that I'm on, what I'm doing right now is the right thing, even though I believe that it is, but just validation, that I managed to figure out, all my situations.
You're being very cryptic with this, bro.
I know, man.
Jokes, I'm joking.
It's yeah, but it's just I have a hard time expressing myself. Yeah, I used to be a very shy kid, very emotional, very just for I have daddy issues. There you go. It's out there. Yeah. And if my dad watches it, I love you, Dad. But yeah, so that pretty much fucked me up real good, and it makes it hard for me to have relationships, I guess. So the conversation that I would have with my older self, I would hope that he tells me that I figured it out, which I think I'm on the right path. Of just, I guess it's just about expressing yourself more and communication and not being afraid of expressing yourself, no matter what it is. If it's if you want to say something good or bad or just, and also being curious about why am I like this? Why do I react like that to a certain thing? And why is it helpful? Why is it not? What can I do to make this better? Because again, I think I know the things that hold me back in terms of relationships. And when I say relationships is just it's not even it's just with humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think I know where I lack, and I think I'm on the right path to figuring it out. But yeah, this would be the conversation that I would like to have with my older self.
Yeah. Again, I mean, dropping dimes today, bro. Dropping bombs. It's a powerful message. Again, asking questions about why you are the way you are is very therapeutic, because like I was saying, we are kind of just programmed by the people that we've been around our entire lives, and that's not our fault. It's
they
just
have been programmed. It's just
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, there is no perfect way of being, right? Everybody has their own kind of definition of what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what they're able to what's that word I'm looking for? What they're able to tolerate. Yeah, what they're able to tolerate, what they're able to have an impact on. So yeah, I hope you figure that out in time. I'm not even going to say soon, because that's a journey,
Yes.
It could be 20 years, could be 30 years, could be 5 years, could be 2 years, could be the next hour, who knows what'll happen on the way from here to when you get back home.
True. But that does give me a lot of good, ideas for songs. I would say that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that
That's
works.
cool.
It works.
I like that. I feel like that would have been a great place to end this episode. But there is a whole topic that I forgot to mention, which we'll kind of skirt over a little, skim over a little bit. But it's look, man. I mean, I'll say it outright. I feel like a big part of why I do anything I do today is because of Cartoon Network.
Oh, man. Yes.
I love Cartoon Network.
Me too.
I'll say it to the camera. I love Cartoon Network.
I'm a huge Powerpuff Girls fan. Huge. Yeah. Love it. Mojo Jojo is my guy.
Powerpuff Girls is actually dope.
Yeah.
Is actually dope. I don't know who created it. It wasn't Gendy Tartakovsky.
Yes.
Was it? Was it?
Okay. Okay, I need to tell you this.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna explain. Like, so Wesley Jamison is not my government name. Wesley is my middle name, so it is my name.
Yeah.
Jamison is my mother's name.
Okay.
So I took my middle name and I took my mom's name.
Nice.
Yeah. My name is Gabriel Tartakovsky. The same last name as the dude that created the Powerpuff Girls. And I used to watch this shit every Saturday morning. I was like, yo, this my uncle. I used to go to school, like, yeah. And he did Samurai Jack too.
Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah. Hell yeah, that's my uncle. Yeah.
Gabriel Tartakovsky.
Yes.
Wesley Jamison. Dude, Gabriel
Actually, if you go on my Spotify, whatever,
yeah,
your whatever you're using, and you go in the credits, it's always written by Gabriel Tartakovsky. It's out there. If you really look for it, it's out there. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, Matt, I mean, that's a really big flex. I bet you were the most popular guy at school after that became a rumor.
I was like, yeah, that's my uncle.
Now, I mean, have you looked into that? He could very well be...
I asked my granddad, and I don't think we're related like that.
Tvi говорит по-русски?
I don't, man.
But you got a little thing going on.
This is from my...
this.
The
Russian, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I could get a sponsorship. Heron Preston, how you doing? But I don't, because my granddad never taught my father, so like my father, never.
Oh, okay, got it. Well, hey, I mean, look, dude, on the journey, I heard Gendy Tartakovsky came out with a new show about cavemen. I haven't seen it.
Same, I didn't even hear.
Do you know about it?
No.
I mean, yeah, anything that man makes, I would be all over it because his storytelling is one of a kind, man. The guy defined a generation of minds.
Yeah, that's true.
I grew up loving I was just watching Cartoon Network 24/7.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, same. Man, they had so many good shows, man. So many good cartoons.
So many good cartoons. What was your favorite? My favorite was there's so many, but one of my favorites that influences me to this day would probably be Samurai Jack.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, same. I remember when seeing this for the first time, and I was like, wow, that shit is dope.
Ah, cool.
I used to love Samurai Jack. I liked Courage.
Oh,
Courage was good.
Stupid dog.
Yeah.
You made me look bad.
Johnny Bravo was funny, but not today, y'all. I don't know if I can say that,
bro.
But I used to find it funny when I was a kid. It's very problematic and for so many reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny to me, man.
But yo, the cartoons from back then were a problem, dude. The script writers knew that they didn't have to hold back.
Like Ed and Eddie, that shit was like,
hello, Ed boys.
Yeah, man. Those were the days.
Wow, that's a trip. I mean, did you watch Cartoon Network in French or English?
In French.
Wow, that was a thing too. When I went to India, they would have Cartoon Network in Hindi, and I was like, "What is this, bro? What is this bullshit?"
But it's dope, though. It means that it's like spread throughout the world, and like kids from all over the world get it.
Yeah.
So that's dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Sometimes I guess dubs for cartoons aren't that bad in French. For movies though, that shit is horrible. Respectfully.
I understand. I've seen a Hindi dub of Harry Potter that did not make any sense to me visually or sonically.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, man. No, I just wanted to bring Cartoon Network up because I feel like I mean, I heard recently that Cartoon Network got shut down for
Yeah,
good.
but then it wasn't the case, right?
I don't know. I didn't.
Because I think they tweeted that actually they're coming back with like some sort of new version or whatever. I don't know if that was real or not, but yeah, we don't know what's real or not on Twitter right now. So
Oh, true. Yeah, shout out Elon Musk.
Yeah,
The man. Yeah, nah, man. I thought I would at least give Cartoon Network a quick shout out because, yeah, I mean, I didn't even talk to you about how Cartoon Network may have influenced your journey in any type of way, or even the music that you create today subconsciously, or anything. But and maybe you don't either.
I don't.
You don't.
I wouldn't even know how what to say, but I just know that I really enjoyed Cartoon Network, and that was my shit.
That was my shit too.
I had a great childhood because of them. Thanks to them.
Warner Brothers. Okay, well, Wes, I think that's a great place to leave off. Thank you so much for coming on Nomadic Mic.